Hello, welcome to the Nottingham Buddhist Centre. My name is Rachel, and you may notice I'm not actually at the Buddhist Centre. I'm coming from my house today, and this is the first time we're trying this, leading the drop-in for somewhere else. So we're gonna have a go with it today. It's my first time leading a meditation online, so but good to be with you here today. I'm starting a little bit early, so I'm just going to go through some of the bits that we always go through. And then we'll get started with the meditation more properly at 1 when we're supposed to start. To start with, we at the Buddhist Centre, if you've come along before, you'll know that we alternate between two different kinds of meditation that we lead at our drop-ins. So we alternate between the Mindfulness of Breathing meditation, which I'll be doing today, and the Metta Bhavana. And the Metta Bhavana just means the cultivation of loving kindness. So there are two great practices, fundamental and profound practices, really. So I really recommend actually you come back again next week and see the Metta Bhavana as well. Great. So I'll say a couple things about posture before I get started. So I'm going to be sitting in a chair today, and I'll just show you a couple of things about posture sitting in a chair for meditation. So just generally with meditation and sitting, the most important thing that you're trying to do is be comfortable and alert. So whatever really helps you to do that, you need to just try out different things until you find what works for you. But I can give you some pointers of what works for a lot of people. So so in a chair, I'm going to show you first of all, I'm going to go sideways here in my chair. This is going to be a bit noisy, but I want to show you this. So on my chair here, can't quite see it. I'm going to sit. When I sit to meditate, I don't sort of lean back in my chair this way. I tend to sit a bit further forward and just let my spine rise up straight from the chair. It lets me be a bit more alert and comfortable. So that's one thing that I do. Let me go back to straight now. The other thing I do that really helps me is I use a blanket like this. And I'll show you what I do with it. For those of you who are just joining us, we're just talking a bit about posture before we get started with meditating. This is the Nottingham Buddhist Centre. So I have the small towel or blanket, and I just wrap it around my waist like this, tuck this bit in here. And so what that gives me is a bit of a little shelf to just rest my hands in. And then what that lets me do is it has my shoulders back in the right comfortable posture, more comfortable than they would be if they were just resting on my lap. So that's what I do with my hands. My feet are flat on the floor, just comfortable. Yeah, so those are some pointers for sitting in a chair for meditating. Okay. Yeah, we're coming in on 1 o'clock here, so maybe I'll just start saying a bit. So what I normally do at the center is I will talk for a little bit. Hello, Zach. See, Zach's on here. Talk for a little bit about the meditation and tell you about the different stages. And then I'll lead us through for about half an hour or so. And so you don't need to remember what I tell you about the different stages because I'll step us through all of that as well. So the mindfulness of breathing, which we're doing today, This practice is, yeah, it's really fundamental for everything that we do. And it's, yeah, I think it's, yes, it's the meditation the Buddha was doing when he became enlightened, apparently. So it's, although it's very basic and straightforward in many ways, it's, yeah, I like to kind of remember that it's also very, there's sort of no end to how far you can go with this practice. So, and it's very, breathing is a wonderful anchor, a wonderful thing for us to focus our mindfulness on, because it's something that's always with us, and something that's ever changing, and that's so key to our life, really. Yeah. So the practice comes in 4 stages, and with the different stages, what we do is throughout we're aware of the breath, and throughout we're really trying to be aware of the actual sensations of our breathing. So, yeah, so not the, as much as we can, avoiding sort of concepts about the breathing, so avoiding thinking about the breathing, but really just trying to settle into feeling the sensations throughout our body, wherever we feel sensations of breath. So that will be true throughout the stages. Um, yeah, so we start in the first 2 stages with counting the breath. And what that does is help us to just settle down into um, our breathing, our physical bodies, and helps give our minds something to do. So it helps kind of to quiet the mind a bit, often early on and later. It's very a helpful practice. So yes, in the first stage, we will be counting after the breath, after the out breath. So I'll be having us or asking you to breathe in and breathe out, and then count 1 after that out breath. Of course, all this is just breathing or counting silently in your minds. So we breathe in, we breathe out, we count 1. Breathe in and out, count 2. Breathe in and out, so on. We do that up until 10, and then we begin again. And that's the first stage. And then in the second stage of the practice, we count before the in-breath. So here we're anticipating the breath. So we'll count 1, breathe in, breathe out. Count 2, breathe in, breathe out. And again, we do that up until 10 and then begin again. So those are the first 2 stages. And in the third stage of the practice, we do is we actually drop the counting. So here we just let go of the counting and just keep our awareness in the breath and the sensations of the breath throughout the body. And yeah, just do that for the third stage. So it's a lovely stage. Then the fourth stage, we still are maintaining the awareness of the breath throughout the body. We bring particular attention to where we notice the breath first enter and last leave the body. So it's really just looking for where that point is for you with each individual breath. So yeah, so it's, people find that place usually somewhere near the front of their nostrils, the top upper lip, or sometimes inside in the back of the throat. It's really just an exploration. I'd really encourage you with each breath to look for where that point is, because it may well move around as well. So that's the fourth stage of what we're looking at. Yeah, so if any of you have just joined us, again, this is the Nottingham Buddhist Centre. I'm coming to you from my house. My name is Rachel. And yeah, we're doing it from a different location today. So I think we'll go ahead. I think if there's anything else I need to tell you before we get started. Obviously, if you have any questions, I think there's a chat box, so feel free to put any questions up there. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and lead us through for probably about half an hour. And then Yeah, and then again, there'll be room for questions at the end as well if you have any. Mm. Yeah. Just again, I'm really glad. Thank you for being here today and being with us. It's an interesting time for all of us. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started, I think. So find yourself into your posture. So again, trying to be comfortable and alert, um, feeling the ground beneath you. Um, yeah, just feeling your weight on the ground. I'm going to go ahead and close my eyes, and you can feel free to close your eyes as well if you're happy doing that. Yeah. Yeah, and to begin with, just really doing that, just giving up your weight to the ground. And just becoming aware of those points of contact between your body and whatever is supporting you. So if you're sitting and it's your sit bones and the chair, your feet and the floor. If you're lying down, perhaps it's your back, different parts of your back on the floor, the back of your head. Just noticing all those points of contact and letting your weight be taken up by the earth. We'll start with just checking in really with our bodies. So beginning with your feet, just bring attention, gentle awareness to your feet. And all you're doing is looking to see what sensations are there in your feet. So you're looking for temperature, pressure, any pleasant or unpleasant sensations. Just really getting curious, the gentle awareness of your feet. And then coming up to your lower legs, your ankles up through your knees, front and back, calves and shins. Again, just getting really curious about what's going on there. What sensations can you be aware of there? Now coming up to your upper legs, so from your knees up through your thighs, up through your hip bones. Again, fronts and backs, sides of your legs. Just looking for noticing tension, relaxation, comfort and discomfort. Just without judgment, noticing what sensations are there. And now coming up to your pelvis, your lower back, your lower belly, sit bones, that whole area. And here you can really, especially if you're sitting in a chair, just letting your weight drop down through the sit bones again. Again, just noticing sensations, what's going on in this area. Softening, relaxing, allowing whatever's there. Now coming up a bit more to your middle of your belly, middle of your back, sort of all the way around your waist area and above and below that. Here's a real area that you can soften as much as you can. Just let those muscles relax and just really notice gently again, just noticing what's going on in your stomach. And just bringing softness and tenderness to that. Now coming up to your chest area. So front of your chest, the back, your shoulders, upper back. This whole area, just again, there can be a lot of sensation here. There can be a lot of tension in shoulders, particularly in chests. So just allowing the breath to gently massage that area, to soften. Just notice what's there again, just checking in with yourself. Allowing whatever is there. And now bringing attention to your arms, your hands, just letting your arms hang freely from your shoulder sockets. Noticing sensations. Can be lots of sensations, particularly in the hands. Now coming up to the neck and the jaw, the face, the temples, around the eyes. This whole area, again, can hold some tension. So just softening the neck, the jaw, face, letting those muscles just melt. Letting your tongue just drop to the bottom of your mouth. Even letting your scalp relax. And now just taking a moment to become aware of your body as a whole. So from the bottoms of your feet up through the top of your head, aware of your whole body, even a bit of space around your body. Just see how much you can be aware of gently. And we'll get ourselves ready to begin the mindfulness of breathing. So in this first stage, we begin to draw our attention to our breath, sensations of breath throughout the body. And as we do this, we're going to count the breaths. We're going to count after the out breath. So we breathe in, breathe out, count 1. Breathe in, breathe out, count 2. We just do this at our own pace. We count up until 10, and then we begin again. As we do this, just remembering to allow the breath to be as it is. So we're not trying to change the breath. We're not trying to make it deeper or slower or anything. We're letting the breath be as it is. And we're just watching it and we're counting after the out breath. And if your mind wanders and you notice that you've lost track of the breath or that you've counted up until 36, that's fine. All we do is come back to the breath, come back to counting after the out breath, begin again at 1 from wherever you were. The important thing is not getting the counting right. Yeah, the practice is just coming back again and again as we lose the breath. We notice we've lost the breath. That's brilliant. We just come back and continue. So now we'll move on to the second stage. And the second stage, again, we're counting before the in-breath. So we count 1, breathe in, breathe out. Count 2, breathe in, breathe out. And we do this up until 10 and begin again. Just allowing our awareness to be very soft, gentle as we're aware of the breath, as we're aware of the counting, just with a certain lightness of touch. And as you're aware of the sensations of breath in your body, you'll likely become aware of other sensations as well, emotions, feelings. Just bringing as much as you can, just bringing tender, gentle awareness to whatever you find, the pleasant and the unpleasant, or the neutral. We're still counting after the out breath. And I got that wrong. So we're in the second stage and we are counting before the in breath. That's all right too. Wherever you're counting is fine. And now we'll move on to the third stage of the practice. In this stage, we go ahead and let go of the counting. So we're still keeping in touch with the breath, the actual sensations of breathing in our bodies. But we're no longer counting. And again, letting the breath be as it is, letting it come and go as it chooses. And just with awareness and gentle kindness towards the breath. And again, as thoughts come and go through your mind, that's fine. That will happen. Just letting the thoughts move through, letting them be there, bringing the attention back to the breath again and again and again. And just as much as you can, receiving the breath kindly. Receiving all your sensations with kindness. And now we'll move on to the final stage of the practice. Here we maintain awareness of the whole breath throughout the body. And we bring particular focus to we get curious really about that first point where the breath enters the body and that last point when it leaves the body. So it's really looking for that point with each breath. It's likely to move and change with each breath. And again, it's looking for those actual sensations of where you first feel that breath and where you last feel it. And as much as possible, not thinking about it, just feeling it. There's a real practice in getting really curious about the breath, getting really interested in where this point is. And coming back to looking for it again and again. And doing all of this with lightness, softness of touch, enjoying the practice. And for the last minute or so of our practice, just letting go of any effort you've been making. And just sitting, enjoying the space that you're in. Now we'll begin to draw the practice to a close. So just gently bringing yourself back into the room that you're in. Maybe wiggling your toes and your fingers a bit. Loosening out any bits that have gotten tight or sore. Becoming aware of the sounds in the room. And then when you're ready, opening your eyes. So thank you again for being with us today. Um, if you do have any questions, you can put them in the chat. Yeah, I'll just say one word about this center, the Nottingham Centre, Buddhist Centre, and how we run. So, as those of you who've been before will know, we run all of the activities at the center on what's called a dana basis. And what that means is that we give these teachings freely, and we volunteer, we do it for free. And then we ask that if you're able to give a donation to the center in return, not in return actually, if you're able to give a donation to the center to help us keep running, then that's obviously really, really welcome. And particularly in these days, something that we do need. And I'm also very aware that in these days, some people, that'll be a very difficult thing to give. So we absolutely want people to take advantage of these teachings and come along. Please do that, regardless of whether you can give a donation or not. If you are in a position where you could, then please do. We have a donation box now on our website, and I think there's actually even a link to it connected to this video in the description, I think. So, yeah. So thank you again. And yeah, hope the rest of your day goes well. Okay, take care.